Good morning, students. Today in this video I'm going to give a explanation about some DBMS, what actually DBMS and how to create a database and how to execute the SQL queries in this video. So in this video I'm going to start with what is a DBMS and what is SQL and what are SQL queries we are going to discuss, and how to execute the SQL queries we are going to discuss in this video. Firstly, introduction to the DBMS. DBMS is nothing but database management system. So in this database management system, we are going to store the data by creating a database. We are going to create some tables in the database and insert some of the data in the table, and perform the delete operation and retrieve the data whenever we require. So whatever the data is there inside this database, it will be a interrelated data, and which is used to retrieve, insert and delete the data efficiently, and it is also used to organize the data in the form of table, schema, views and reports. So for example, a college database organizes the data about admin, staff, students and faculty. So if you take any college database, we are going to have multiple databases for which the admin for admin office. In admin office we are going to have some sort of data, and staff is going to have some sort of data, and students is going to have some sort of different data, like books, library details, their fees details, all will be there in their database. So whenever we come with the faculty, we are going to have some syllabuses and test papers. All these will be there in the faculty database. In this way we are going to use the database to insert, delete and retrieve the data. So coming with the next one, what is database management system. Here we have seen a database. In the database, what we can perform, we can insert, delete and retrieve. We can perform all these three type of operations. Now what the DBMS is going to do, the database management system, what the database management system is going to do, is going to manage all those things. So it is the database management system is a software where which is it is going to manage all the things. Is that is the process was completely in a proper order or not, it is going to check with it. And here also in this DBMS provides an interface to perform various operations like database creation, storing data in it, updating data, creating a table in the table and lot more. So here also we are going to perform some we are creating a table, storing the data and updating the data and performing all these operations. So it provides protection and security to the database in the case of multiple user. It also maintains data consistency. Here the word data consistency means, so whenever the multiple users are accessing one sort of data, so it is going to check with that, is everything was up to date or not, is every data was correct or not. So in this consistency, here whenever multiple users are using a database, they are going to raise with some conflicts like a read and read conflict, read and write conflict, write and read conflict. All these type of conflicts will be right. Here the database management system is going to uh, provide the protection for the data and security for the data in these DBMS. So here DBMS allows users to the following tasks. So here data definition. In the data definition, we are going to create the structure. Here we are going to use some queries, some commands and queries to create the tables. So whenever we have wanted to perform some changes in this tables, in the fields, we are going to have some fields, column names. We are going to have column names. So by using this data definition, we are going to perform this creation. We are going to create the column names, whenever we wanted to perform some sort of modification to the column names, we are going to use this DDL. We can perform this modification and removal of the definition. Whenever we are not required of the column, we can use this data definition and we can remove it. And here in the data updation, it is used for insertion, modification and deletion of the actual data. So inside the table we are going to have the fields data, so that data will be inserted and modified, like updating operation will be performed and deleting operation will be performed to the data by using this data updation. So here the data retrieval, by using this select statement we retrieve the data, right? So here the data retrieval can be retrieve the data, whatever we stored the data, we can retrieve it as per our usage. So here the user administration, here in the user administration, in the database we are going to create some roles and responsibilities for the user. We are going to create the users. For that user we are going to give some sort of permissions for data modification, data deletion, data insertion. We give some sort of roles for them. According to that we are going to give the data. So here what is the use of this? It is going to maintain the data integrity and enforce data security, dealing with concurrency control, monitoring performance and recovery information corrupted by unexpected failure. So to overcome all this, use this data administration. So here we need to look into the database table. So if we all know that these are rows, these are the rows, these are rows and these are columns. Yes or no? We know this. So here what is a database table? A table is a collection of related data entities. So entities, here we need to understand a table is a collection of related. Here a table is a collection of related data entries and it consists of columns and rows. So a column holds specific information about every record in the table. A record is each individual entry that exists in a table. So just a moment. So here we need to understand it is a related data entries. It consists of columns and rows. So here what is a column and what is a row? Here this is a row. Okay, these yellow lines are rows. Okay, we call it as a rows, and these are the tuples. So whatever the data is there here, whatever the data is there in this, we call it as a, so whatever the data is there in this table, it is a related for customer details, customer ID or customer details. It is a related of customer details. Okay, it is a related data entries. If you, this is about database table. Here we have five rows. Those are customer rows. Okay, so next concept was next main concept was RDBMS. So in this DBMS, one of the basic and most important concept was RDBMS. Here you can, here also we are going to have a database. We are going to have a table. So in this we are going to add some more features in this RDBMS. So where do we use this RDBMS? You may ask me about that. Where do we use this RDBMS? So basically, this is used for SQL to perform the SQL operations. We can perform easily the SQL operations or SQL queries can be implemented for these RDBMS easily. So it is used in some of the databases like MS SQL Server IBM database, Oracle, MySQL, and Microsoft Office. So all these applications are using a concept called RDBMS. So the data in the RDBMS is stored in the database called tables. A table is a collection of related data entries and it consists of columns and rows. So here we need to understand some of the terminologies of RDBMS. So here if you see at this table, this is this column we call it as a field. Okay, in the RDBMS we call this column as a fields. Okay, these columns are fields and rows are tuples. The rows are tuples, and fields are columns are fields. So here the first column we have given, for the first field we have given a primary key. If you see database, normal database table, we does not have any primary key for the table. If you see, we are assigning a primary key for this table. If you look into a database table, here no primary key has been assigned, but in our database RDBMS we are assigning primary key, where it is a related table. In this related table, all the information will be related to one detail. Okay, so it's a related or relational. A relational database is the most commonly used database. It consists of several tables and each table has its primary key. So in this RDBMS concept, every table must have a primary key. So what is the condition for the primary key? It should have unique values. Whatever the table is there in the primary key field, there should be a unique values. Okay, so here these are rows we call it as a tuples. Number of tuples we call it as a cardinality. Okay, number of columns we call it as a degree. Okay, let's see what. So here if you see, this is a customers table. For the customers table, this green line we have assigned it as a primary key. If you look into the next table, we are assigning it for the other table. The relationship between the customers table and the order table is customer ID column. Here we are performing some we are assigning some foreign key, where here in this customer table it's a primary key. In this customer table it is a primary key. The first column was the primary key. When it comes to the other orders table, it will be happened as a foreign key. So it is also a key. It is acting as a foreign key, where this reference number, whenever this reference is referencing that customer table. Okay, in this way this is a primary, as in we are assigning this is a primary. So here in this table it was acting as a foreign key. In this manner we are going to create the tables and assign relations to these tables. So the next most important concept was SQL, structured query language. So we all know, by to perform all these operations for inserting the data, creating the data, inserting the data, deleting the data, and retrieving the data, we are using a query language called structured query language, SQL. Okay, so by using this SQL we can store the data, manipulate the data, retrieve the data, and perform lot many operations in this database. So what is SQL? So SQL stands for structured query language. SQL lets you access and manipulate database. So SQL became a standard of American National Standards in Institute ANSI in 1986, and of the International Organization for ISO in 1987. Please remember these date years and who has given this standardization for the SQL. So firstly it has been standardized by American National Standards in the year 1986. Then after, the International Organization Standards also has been standardized this one in the year of 1987. Please remember all these years. Then after, so what can we perform by using this SQL means, so SQL can execute queries against a database. SQL can retrieve data from the database. SQL can insert records into the database, create, SQL can update records into a database, SQL can delete records from a database and create new records, create new tables, create stored procedures by using some PLSQL. We are performing we are creating stored procedures and create views and set permissions on the tables. So we can perform all these operations in this SQL very easily by using some queries. So here, how to run a SQL query. If you see, we are going to open our SQL command prompt in our system. We are going to search for our SQL command prompt and open your SQL command prompt. Then type. You are going to see this type of screen. In this screen, you need to type connect. After that, it is going to ask some of the credentials like username, password. It is going to ask those username, passwords, and all the details. You need to give your username as a system and password as a Oracle. So then after, create a database in SQL and create a table and insert your values, and you can perform your SQL operations as usual, like update, modify. You can perform all these type of operations. I'll let you show a video for this, how to connect and all this. If you see here in this video, we are connecting. I'm typing it as a connect. Enter username system, enter password Oracle. It will not be visible, but the password will be typed. Type correctly whenever you're typing anything. Please type it correctly. Then after connecting it, you got it connected. You need to create a database. So I have already been created a database. That's the reason I was using other type of command called grant connect. So grant connect resource to my database. So to connect to your if you want to create your database, you need to use a create command. If you see here, some sort of error has been came. That was a it was already replaced. So this my database was not there, does not exist. My database one was does not exist. That's the reason I have removed my database one and gave the name as my database. So grant success, the database was connected. If you see here, whenever you are typing these passwords, please be clear. So whenever you wanted to create a database, you need to use a command create database. Your database name you can write and give the semicolon. So you have already created a database and you wanted to connect to your database, you can use a grant connect resource to my database. Okay, so after this you can be connected for this your database. Okay, so steps to create a database and access the database. For creating a database, you need to use, so as I told, for creating a database we need to use a create database, and you can give your database name. So whenever you are closing this, you perform some of the operation in the updated the values, you can close this one, and you can, if you want to reconnect, you can use grant connect resource to my database, so that you will be connected for your database. Okay, so that's all for this video. So in the next video I'm going to show how to perform, how to start creating the tables and inserting the values in the table. Okay, thank you.